It's 5:47 a.m. on a cold October morning in a small riverside town somewhere in rural Oregon. The mist is still hanging low over the water, and there's this guy, let's call him Sam, sitting alone in his weathered wooden boat, staring at nothing. People in town whisper about him. "That's Sam," they say. "Best ferryman this side of the Columbia, but man, something broke inside him years back." And they're right. Because Sam isn't just carrying passengers across that river every single day. He's carrying something way heavier, something invisible, something that's been crushing him for 5 long years. And today, a 7-year-old girl is about to change everything he thought he knew about letting go. Sam had been doing this job since he was 19. Rowing folks back and forth, rain or shine, winter storms or summer heat. He knew every rock formation, every current, every dangerous spot on that river like the back of his hand. The locals trusted him completely. Farmers heading to market, kids going to school on the other side, elderly folks visiting family. They all climbed into Sam's boat, knowing they'd get across safe. But if you looked close, really close, you'd see something off about Sam, the way his jaw clenched when the water got choppy. The way his eyes seemed to be looking at something that wasn't there. The way he never, ever sang anymore. Even though old-timers remembered when Sam used to belt out folk songs that echoed across the whole valley. 5 years ago, Sam had a younger brother named Daniel. Danny was 22, fresh out of community college, full of dreams about moving to Portland and starting a tech company. The two brothers were tight, inseparable really. Danny idolized Sam, always wanted to help with the boat. Always talking about how one day they'd expand the ferry business together, maybe get a second boat, hire some help. One Saturday in March, Danny convinced Sam to let him take the oars. "Come on, bro, I've watched you do this 1,000 times." "Let me try." Sam hesitated, but eventually gave in. It was a calm day, seemed safe enough. But halfway across, the weather turned. One of those freak spring storms rolled in fast, the kind that comes out of nowhere in the Pacific Northwest. The wind kicked up, the current got vicious, and the boat started taking on water. Sam yelled instructions, tried to grab the oars back, but in the chaos, Danny stood up to reach for a loose rope and lost his balance. He went over the side. Sam dove in after him, fought against that current with everything he had. Screamed his brother's name until his voice gave out. But the river won. They found Danny's body 3 days later, 2 miles downstream. Sam blamed himself completely. Didn't matter what anyone said. Didn't matter that the sheriff ruled it an accident. That the whole town showed up to the funeral and told Sam it wasn't his fault. That even his own mother hugged him and whispered, "Danny wouldn't want you to carry this." Sam couldn't hear any of it. All he heard was his own voice in his head, over and over. "You should have said no. You should have been faster. You should have saved him." He kept running the ferry because he didn't know what else to do, but he became a ghost of himself. No more jokes with passengers. No more waving at kids on the shore. Just silent trips back and forth, like a machine running on autopilot. People started avoiding eye contact with him, not out of judgment, but because his pain was so thick you could almost touch it. Then one Tuesday morning in early fall, this little girl showed up at the dock. Her name was Emma, and she was 7 years old with these huge brown eyes and pigtails that bounced when she walked. Her mom was behind her, juggling grocery bags, and Emma skipped right up to Sam's boat, like she didn't have a care in the world. "Morning, mister," she chirped. Sam just nodded, helped her and her mom aboard, started rowing, but Emma kept staring at him. Not in a rude way, just curious. After about 2 minutes of silence, she asked, "Why do you look so sad all the time?" Her mom immediately shushed her. "Emma, that's not polite." But Sam raised a hand. "It's okay." He looked at this little kid and for some reason, he answered honestly, "I'm carrying something heavy, kiddo. Something from a long time ago." Emma tilted her head like a puppy trying to understand. "Like a backpack?" Sam almost smiled. "Sort of. Yeah, like a really heavy backpack I can't take off. Emma thought about this for a second, then said something that hit Sam like a lightning bolt. But mister, if you're always carrying yesterday, how are you gonna see today? Sam stopped rowing. Just sat there in the middle of the river, oars resting, staring at this 7-year-old philosopher who just dropped the deepest truth he'd heard in 5 years. Her mom looked concerned. Is everything okay? Sam nodded slowly, picked up the oars again, finished the crossing. But Emma's words wouldn't leave his head. That evening, after his last run, Sam didn't go straight home like usual. He walked down to a quiet spot on the riverbank, a place where he and Danny used to skip stones as kids. He sat on a flat rock and just watched the water. And he really watched it. The river was always moving, always flowing, always heading somewhere. It never stopped to hold on to anything. A leaf would fall in and get carried away. A stick, a piece of trash, whatever. The river just moved it along, didn't cling to it, didn't try to keep it. The water that passed by Sam in that moment would be miles away in an hour, in the ocean in a few days. It never looked back. It couldn't. That was its nature. Sam realized he'd been doing the exact opposite. He was holding on to March 16th 5 years ago like it was happening right now, this very second. He was replaying it, rewinding it, analyzing it, torturing himself with it. He was trying to carry the entire river instead of letting it flow past him. And that weight, that impossible weight, was crushing him. It was keeping him from living, from laughing, from connecting with people, from honoring Danny's memory the right way. Because Danny wouldn't have wanted this. Danny would have wanted Sam to keep singing, to keep smiling, to live big and full and messy and beautiful. That's who Danny was. And by drowning in guilt, Sam wasn't honoring his brother. He was betraying everything Danny stood for. Right there on that rock, with the sun setting over the Oregon hills and the river rushing by, Sam made a decision. He couldn't change the past. He would always miss Danny. There would always be a Danny-shaped hole in his heart. But he could choose right now to stop carrying the weight of what he couldn't control. He could choose to remember Danny with love instead of guilt. He could choose to step into today, really step into it, without the chains of yesterday holding him back. Sam took a deep breath, deeper than any breath he'd taken in 5 years, and he felt something shift inside his chest. It was like a knot untying, like a weight lifting. Not gone completely, but lighter, manageable. The next morning, Sam showed up at the dock before sunrise like always. But something was different. When the first passenger climbed aboard, an old farmer named Pete who'd been crossing with Sam for 15 years, Pete did a double take. "Sam, you okay, son?" Sam looked at him and smiled. A real smile. "Yeah, Pete, I think I'm gonna be." As he rode across that river with the morning sun breaking through the mist, Sam started humming. Just a quiet tune at first, one of those old folk songs he used to sing. Pete's eyes got a little watery. By the time they reached the other side, Sam was singing out loud, and it echoed across the whole valley, just like it used to. People in town heard it and stopped what they were doing. "Is that Sam?" They asked each other. "I think Sam's back." And here's the thing. Sam still missed Danny every single day. Sometimes he'd see something funny and think, Danny would have loved that, and feel a pang in his chest. Sometimes he'd pass that spot on the river and have to take a breath, but he wasn't drowning anymore. He was floating. He was flowing forward like the river taught him. He started talking to passengers again, asking about their lives, their families. He helped a teenager learn to row, patiently teaching him the same way he once taught Danny. And instead of pain, he felt pride. He started going to the town barbecues again, the Friday night gatherings at the community center. He started living. Because here's what Sam learned, and what we all need to understand. Yesterday happened. It's real. The pain is real. The loss is real. The mistakes are real. But yesterday is not today. And if we spend all of today carrying yesterday on our backs, we miss the gift that's right in front of us. We miss the 7-year-old with wise words. We miss the sunrise. We miss the chance to help someone. We miss life. And life, this wild, unpredictable, beautiful, heartbreaking, magnificent life, is too precious to miss. The past is a teacher, not a prison. It's meant to give us lessons, not a life sentence. Sam's story isn't about forgetting Danny. It's about remembering him in a way that brings light instead of darkness. It's about understanding that honoring someone we've lost means living fully, not shutting down. It's about realizing that guilt doesn't change the past, but it sure can destroy the present. So if you're carrying something heavy today, something from last year or 10 years ago, something you replay in your mind at 3 in the morning, I want you to think about Sam. Think about that river that never stops flowing. Think about Emma asking, "How are you going to see today if you're always carrying yesterday?" You don't have to forget. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. But you do have to choose whether you're going to let it define you or refine you. Whether you're going to drown in it or flow past it. Whether you're gonna stay stuck on that one terrible day or step into the thousands of days still waiting for you. Sam chose to step forward. And the moment he did, the moment he let the river teach him to flow, everything changed. Not because the past disappeared, but because he stopped letting it hold him hostage. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Don't miss it because you're too busy carrying yesterday. Let it go, let the river flow, and start living again.